Over the past 2.5 years, because the 2020 election and COVID-19, everything we know about politics and medicine has changed. Our perception of truth has been severely dashed to the point that no one believes anything any expert says. Because of all the deafening, distracting noise, important discoveries in medicine have been cancelled out by utterly irrational nonsense. In this video presentation, the God virus, years of peer-reviewed scientific research will be discussed, and the real culprit for what has been killing millions of people over the past few decades worldwide, from heart disease, neurological diseases, diabetes, and most other chronic diseases, will be revealed. The good news is, it's completely preventable. Plus, when patients suffer with these chronic diseases, they can be slowly reversed. So, let the discoveries be revealed. Over the past few days, shocking news has been broadcast all over the internet concerning the relationship between COVID-19 and folded over prions. Dr. Nordquist has been studying and writing concerning prions and chronic disease for a long time. Folded over prions are related to beta amyloid, which is associated with mad cow disease, chronic diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, neurological diseases including Alzheimer's disease, manic depression, obsessive-compulsive disease, and dementia. Understanding what prions are is the most misunderstood concept in medicine today. However, after listening to this presentation, you will understand what they are and how they benefit us. It's completely opposite from what we are led to believe. Whether prions are the chicken or the egg in COVID-19 is the question. The answer defines all chronic disease.
Dr. Laura Manuelaitis made the unsettling discovery of the Sphinx virus. This virus gets its name from the spelling of the word sphinx, slow progressive hidden infections of variable X latency. It is an exceedingly small viral particle of 25–30 nanometers in diameter. The particle possesses a DNA strand that is encased by a heat and chemical-resistant protective shell that renders it almost indestructible. Not only does this DNA strand code for replicating itself, but it may also code for the defective folded-over prions that stack up to form beta amyloid. This beta amyloid is the basis of Alzheimer's disease, diabetes, heart disease, and Creutzfeldt, Jakob disease, the human form of mad cow disease.
Beta amyloid is a crystalline-like structure, and it is the characteristic finding in chronic diseases. Slide number 1 shows the crystalline structure in Alzheimer's disease, slide number 2 shows this same material in mad cow disease, and the third slide shows it in the experimental form of mad cow disease. The disturbing fact is that this virus is encoded within the brain. An explanation of mad cow disease is apropos at this juncture. During the initial part of mad cow disease in England, cows were dropping dead from an unknown cause. It was ugly. Cows lost their balance and fell to the ground uncontrolled. In ignorance, these dead cows were then ground up and fed to healthy cows in their everyday feed to add additional protein to the feed. Then these cows contracted the unknown pathogen and dropped dead in the same manner as the original cows. Researchers finally partially figured it out and blamed the disease on prions that they found prevalent in the brains of the affected cattle. So, eating brains became forbidden because of the prion diseases.
Quoting Manuelaitis herself, late-stage aggregates of PRP, folded over prion amyloid, and fibrillary tangles remain flags of a sinking ship that gives no clue about the initiating causes of later neurodegeneration. In transmissible spongiform encephalopathies, TSES or prion diseases, like mad cow disease, the initiating cause is clearly an infectious agent with viral characteristics. The Sphinx virus. Evolutionary biologists explain the modern epidemic of chronic disease differently, and it makes sense. This applies to older animals, especially females past the age of procreation, to preserve the lives of younger reproducing members of a species. Over the millennia, during times of drought and famine, a unique feature in the DNA activates to depress the immune system. This immune system depression leads to death and thus permits greater viability for the younger animals. They do not have to make as much effort to sustain the viability of an older, minimally contributing member. This is exactly what is happening in our modern society. As a result of our modern diet of non-micronutrient foods including refined carbohydrates, corn syrup, and sugar, our immune system senses these dietary deficiencies. It then concludes it must be a time of famine and scarcity. A switch is then flipped, and depression of the immune system occurs. The older animals begin to die off for the greater good of the younger community during a modern man-made famine. The Sphinx virus is related to mad cow disease and Alzheimer's disease, and further to most of all other chronic diseases. It continues eventually to death of primarily our older and non-producing members of society. If the evolutionary biologist's explanation of modern chronic disease is correct, then the mechanism for saving a starving population is unwittingly flipping the switch to release the Sphinx virus and cause heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and Alzheimer's disease, to name only a few of chronic diseases, to cull out diseased members of our society for the greater good.
The key to avoiding the whole species survival phenomena is to trick the immune system into thinking you are not starving. Dr. Nordquist designed a whole new approach to medicine and dentistry with prevention of chronic health disease and dental disease in mind. It is called the New Dental Deal. The New Dental Deal is described in detail in the long version of the Sphinx virus aka the God virus, which the address can be found in the description below.